First on CBS This Morning, we always like when that happens. I'm going to say it again. First on CBS This Morning, the Library of Congress has just revealed its newest national ambassador for young people's literature. The two-year position aims to raise the nation's appreciation of youth literature as it relates to literacy, education, and the development and betterment of our lives. Our nation's newest national ambassador for young people's literature, you're looking at him. This is Jason Reynolds. Hello, Jason Reynolds.
Yeah.
He is a best-selling and award-winning author and poet whose work includes Patina and As Brave as You. My favorite is Long Way Down. I love, love, love that book. He writes for young adult audiences. Jason was named to the position by the Librarian of Congress. She's here, too. Hello, Carla Hayden.
Hello. This is an exciting time.
I don't know who's more excited, me, Carla, or Jason. We are now joined by both of them in our Toyota green room. So you want to talk about your engagement first?
For sure. For sure. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, that's a private joke with me and Jason. I'm always bugging him like, when's the news coming? But okay. All right, Mr. Ambassador, tell us what this position means to you and what you intend to do with it, because this is a big job, Jason.
It's a big job. So what it means to me is accountability.
Accountability.
Responsibility, compassion and empathy. To remember that our young people are young people. And that they are the most human parts of our humanity.
But a lot of people think young people don't read or not reading.
Because a lot of
levels are down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that people who think that mainly because, for a few reasons. One, I think statistics are always tricky, right? Because I think that statistical narrative can be controlled by the person who is articulating it, right? Whatever you see in those numbers is what you see. It doesn't mean that they're not necessarily true, they're just not whole truths. And that I think readership is up, and maybe we haven't quite made the connection between the readership and the test scores, and maybe there we should sort of start to analyze our curriculums and other things. There's a bigger sort of thing at play. It's not just about the young people, it's about all the other things. But I believe readership, from what I'm seeing on the ground, that readership is actually way up.
Yeah, because you're there. Carla, listen, you had a lot of people to choose from. What were you looking for in an ambassador, and how did you end up with him? Clearly, he's very bright, very articulate, and really knows his stuff. But why him?
The empathy, the ability to reach all types of young people. I've seen him with hundreds of young people. I've seen lines.
I have too.
2 hours long
of
young people waiting to talk with him, to really say that this book touched me, and they don't look like Jason all the time. And so we wanted, an ambassador is supposed to have and make good relations and be that bridge for people, and that's what we really want.
But Jason, and I've done stories with Jason, that's why I'm already very smitten before we even start this. I was thrilled when I saw that you had chosen him. But Jason, I remember your own personal story. You didn't read, or you didn't really finish a book until you were 17. At the time, I said to him, Carla, I don't know whether to be impressed or mad that you hadn't read the whole book until you were 17. But what would it have taken for you, Jason? What could somebody have said to you that would have made you think reading is cool, reading is fun? I think
if we were to look at reading the same way we look at career day in our schools, right? The reason that so many kids want to be firefighters when they're young is because firefighters come to the school during career day, and teachers they interact with every single day. Doctors show up to the school, lawyers show up to the school. Writers never came. And so I want ball players, right? You want to be a basketball player because you see basketball players. You want to be an MC because you see rappers around. You want to be a musician, right? And so my thing is, if we can make some of us more public, if we can engage with young people on a one-to-one level, face-to-face, really ask them questions, and furthermore, listen to what they have to say, to acknowledge their humanity. I think young people are willing to invest in you in a different way once they feel like they can trust you.
Is that what you plan to do, to go interact with people face-to-face? And where do you plan to go?
I mean, that's always been my goal. It's always been what I've done. And this time around, I plan to go primarily to small town and rural America, because I always say, I always profess that I love children, but that can't be true if I don't love all of them.
Yeah.
That can't be true. Like, it's a real thing, you know?
But I don't think they have seen a lot of people that look like you in rural America.
All the more reason to go.
Yeah.
That's the ambassador role.
Yes.
He is going to go and show, here's what an author can be.
And everybody's so concerned, you know. It's just like, you know,
I know. I know. Is that even a fair question?
Right?
I know.
The elephant is sort of like, well, you know, are you sure?
You're going to go.
Yes.
It's going to Alabama in
I'm
a
going
rural
to
area.
because the reality is that no matter what I feel or what anyone feels about these places, there are children there.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
There are children, and children are children everywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
They're all children.
I love what you said. Everyone's so concerned. Should they not be concerned? It's such polarizing times, I think, Jason, in this country.
Yes.
And we're so the vitriol is so heavy and tense.
I think that concern is warranted.
I hear a but though.
Well, I don't live my life in fear, right? Because if I live my life in fear, then we stop what we're trying to proliferate to young people. We stop it. And they're the ones who pay for it on the back end. So if we actually want to see a change, if we really believe the things that we say, then we have to go and talk to the children so that as they grow, they close the chasm. But if all of us are afraid to talk to the kids, then we can't expect the world to look differently 20 years from now.
I know. I know you're right.
You can come with me.
I know you're right. I would love to go. I would love to
And
go.
they're reading Jason's
I'm a very
books.
chatty person, and I play nicely with others too, Jason.
I know.
So
And they're reading
They're
the books.
reading in the rural areas. They're reading Jason's books.
No, I lived in Turkey as a kid from first grade to sixth grade. We didn't have television. Nobody did. So for me, going to the library, I had a thing called a library card.
Yes.
You would go and check out books. So I was a voracious reader. I love reading. It can take you places. What would be your definition of success, Carla, at the end of 2 years for Jason's ambassadorship?
If, when he goes into those communities, he gets young people to tell their stories. His platform is grab a mic.
Grab a mic.
And to
Grab a
get
mic.
them, grab a mic and tell your story. And we will add hundreds of young people's stories to our American Folklife Center. We have people who have done Veterans Affairs, all of these things in this folk life. But what about the voices of young people?
Yeah, and they keep saying this is not a political role, but you write a lot about politics and about social issues. Do you intend to do anything with that?
I mean, it's yet to be seen. First of all, I think that I live a political life, right? But I just think the way that we think about what that means is it has a negative connotation. But like me being in a space is a political thing. Me making these decisions are political decisions, right?
yes.
It is what it is, and that's okay. This is a good thing. And will I write about it? I typically am a person who works from the inside out. This will be a part of my inside now. And so will it come out in the work? I'm sure.
What are you reading now that really excites you?
Oh, goodness. What am I reading now at the moment?
That's not one of your novels.
No, I don't. I don't read my own novels. I'll tell you.
After it's written, you don't read it again?
No, I definitely don't. I just finished a little while ago. One book that really stuck with me was, and it's not a quote unquote children's book. It's Jacqueline Wilson's Red at the Bone.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a former ambassador.
She was on here to talk about it.
I think it's a haunting book.
It is haunting. I love what Jacqueline said about you. She was talking about, when Jason speaks and the effect that you have on people. She said this in the New York Times about Jason. Kids have not been exposed to a writer who looks like he does, who sounds like he does, who has the deep honesty and connection with them that he does, and he really sees those kids.
Yes.
Rap inspired your writing.
Yeah.
How so?
For a few reasons. One, it showed me that rap music was poetry and that poetry was mine, and that if poetry could be mine, then story could be mine, narrative could be mine, my identity could be mine and could be valuable. Two, it showed me that irreverence wasn't a bad thing, right? That there's a thin line between irreverence and irresponsibility, but that irreverence is okay.
Yeah.
And I try to be irreverent in my work and the way it's written and the language it's written in, and what I choose to talk about. And then lastly, language itself. Right? It's malleable and it bends and it's fluid and it's evolving and I get to play with it however I choose.
Yeah.
Right? It is mine. And that's amazing.
I know. I'm telling you, for the first, I know.
I'm just going like,
the first time I met him, I thought, God, you're a soundbite a minute. You hear about his life story and then how he tells the story. You give me goosebumps when you speak. But can we do a quick lightning round? How much time, Nancy, do we have? Okay. Quick lightning round for both of you before we let you go. Jason, if you had to pick one book to read over and over and over again, what would it be?
Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay. Carla, a book that you're looking forward to reading.
Red at the Bone.
Oh, you haven't read
Jacqueline
it yet.
Woodson. I have it, and I want to read
it's
it
good.
because
Yeah,
I love
she was
her.
here for that. Jason, a book that changed your life.
Zora Neale Hurston's The Eyes Are Watching God.
All right. Carla, a book that doesn't get enough recognition.
If Beale Street Could Talk. The movie
yes.
was wonderful. But if you read the book,
yes.
James Baldwin, and I have an autographed copy that he read from years ago. And
Now
I got
you're
to
showing
send it.
off.
Yeah, well,
That's nice.
I'm a librarian.
What a treasure. What a
But
treasure.
a treasure, and I
Yes.
don't put it where people that visit my house can see it.
What a treasure. May I say you have excellent taste
Yes.
for making this selection?
Oh.
Congratulations, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, Gayle.
Always
Good
good to see you. Really good to see you. That'll do it for us. We thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. Bye.